Hey everybody, this is Josh Paul, host of the Small Marketing Teams podcast. I'm really glad that you're checking out the show today. If you're trying to grow your business and you're not a household name or a well-funded startup, you need to do things differently, and that's what we get into on this podcast. If that's you, go ahead and click subscribe on the screen right now so that you'll get notified when we put out new tips, new tutorials, and new advice for small marketing and sales teams. But the thing about inbound leads is salespeople don't know what to do with them. Small Marketing Teams,
Episode 31.
You're listening to the Small Marketing Team Show with Josh Paul, the podcast where you'll learn how to achieve big growth without a big budget.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in to today's session of the Small Marketing Teams Show, the podcast that marketers, salespeople, and business owners rely on to learn how to do more with less. Each week, I'll teach you how you can grow your company without the big budgets that we associate with marketing today. Whether you're the only marketer in your company, and you're also the salesperson, the CEO, and the person who does payroll, or you have a marketing team big enough to need an org chart, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Josh Paul. Let's get started.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of the Small Marketing Teams podcast. We're going to do something a little bit different today. I want to share with you a training that I put together to help people understand one of the most critical aspects of growing their business. We get caught up with shiny objects on the sales side and the marketing side. New sales techniques, new scripts, new tools. With marketing, it's really easy to get caught up in different channels, new formats, changes to existing channels, whether it's podcasting, videos, blogging, ads. But underneath, none of that works. No company can move forward. In fact, I've worked with companies that are absolutely paralyzed if they don't have their lead management set up. It provides clarity to the marketing team and the sales team, especially the sales team, as far as how to bring leads through the sales process. And it also tells you on the sales side, the sales management side, the executive side, and the marketing side, what is working, what is not, what you need to double down on, and what you need to pull back on. So let's get into this lead management training.
Hey everybody, my name is Josh Paul. Who here doesn't love inbound leads? You create helpful, insightful, educational, original content for your market, and people just find you. So they request a demo, take a tour, take an assessment, download an ebook or a cheat sheet or a checklist, and they come into your system as leads. Inbound leads are amazing. I grew my entire company using 100% inbound leads before we sold it. But the thing about inbound leads is salespeople don't know what to do with them. A little story about me. My first year using HubSpot to generate inbound leads. This is a B2B software company at a $30,000 price point, just so you know where I'm coming from. They had taken them from 10 leads a month to 100 leads a month consistently. I was so excited. I had HubSpot set up. I had the metrics. I had everything working. I had leads coming in. I was pushing a lot of them over to sales. And after that first year, I was walking into my review meeting with the partners with a lot of swagger. I was pretty excited to kind of gloat about what I had done. And I sat across from them and I got the biggest shock of my life. They said, Josh, I don't think this is going to work out. Completely blindsided me. I was devastated because I was at a point in my career where I felt like I was finally contributing. But the thing was, none of those leads that I had passed over to sales, none of those inbound leads had turned into revenue. And what I did at that point is I had a bunch of choices. I stuck with it. They kept me around, gave me one more chance. But the thing was, I had to plateau my lead generation, or at least stop putting so much time into generating leads. And I had to become a student of B2B sales and understand how to get a sales team who was used to handling a few leads a month, served on a silver platter, contract, ready to go, ready to do a demo, how to get them to get excited about and work inbound leads. Because inbound leads come in at all different stages of the sales process. That's the beauty of it. You're getting people who are researching, and so you're building those relationships sooner instead of just people who are ready to buy. So while the sales conversations are different, you're getting many more leads. So what I had to do is I had to understand lead management. And this is where I've spent the bulk of the past few years, is not helping people on the traffic side and the lead generation side, but helping them set up lead management for their company, because they're like, I'm getting traffic, I'm getting 300 leads a month, 400 leads a month, 1,000 leads a month, but they're rotting on the vine and they're slipping through the cracks. And that's the whole purpose behind lead management, is to prevent leads, good leads that you're spending money on, you're investing, your marketing investments, your lead generation investments are bringing in leads. You don't want those to go to waste. Nothing rots on the vine, nothing falls through the cracks. So let me take you through what lead management is and the 5 pillars that you need to get right to have a strong lead management process that helps you turn leads into revenue. All right, so lead management is the process of knowing what to do with leads, where they go in your CRM, what data gets changed, how to track leads, how to follow up with leads, how at a management level you can look at any lead and know where they are in the sales process, and from a sales level where you can know what to do and spend your time selling instead of entering data into your CRM, instead of trying to research and figure out where a lead is. And anyone from your team can go into that same system and say, oh, I know exactly where that lead is in the process, whether it's on the management level, whether you're going on vacation as a sales rep and you need to hand it off to somebody. Everybody's playing from the same process playbook. So the first thing you need is definitions. And these are clear, company-wide, agreed upon definitions for what turns into a deal. You know, what gets a lead onto the deal board? What is that criteria? What are the definitions for all of the deal stages? What is the lead status? What are the definitions for all of the different lead status? How are they used? How do you track next actions? If the next action is set to connect or qualifying or schedule demo, what does that mean, so that everybody is playing from the same playbook, and that means your data is clean and consistent. So definitions is number one. Nothing moves forward without them. What is an MQL? What is your definition for an SQL? Making sure everybody is in agreement as to what those are. This is a massive whiteboarding workshop that we conduct with our clients before we even touch the technology. All right, the second thing is the process. When a lead comes in, and sometimes it's straightforward. You have one product, one market, one way that leads come in, and all right, where does it get routed? What are the steps that the salesperson takes to connect with that lead? If they connect with them, great. Where does it go? If they don't connect with them, if they connect with them and they're qualified but not ready to talk to sales yet, what happens? What are all the scenarios? That's what we call them in our workshops. What are all the scenarios that you need to be able to accommodate at every point in the sales process? Mapping that out, and then you have to go deep and complicated to make it as simple as possible. I did a recent podcast episode on that, where it's not, even if you're using a simple CRM, you need to go and do that deep dive into your complex sales process in order to bring it back up and make it as clean and simple for your sales team as possible. The next thing is automation. There's so much that you can do. People think of automation, they think marketing, they think drip campaigns. The big value for automation is actually on the sales side, and helping keep the data clean and having sales touch as few fields as possible and everything that happens on the back end to make sure that your lead management framework stays intact. The next thing is accountability. Setting up accountability so that your sales team knows what they're responsible for, which metrics, which they're going to get dinged on manually. You know, the sales manager is going to come over and say, hey, this is down this month, in which the system is going to automatically remind them of. So making sure that because your data is clean and because people are mapping their sales process to the lead management structure built into your CRM, then making sure that they know what they're accountable for. It's too easy without the definitions, the process, and the automation. It's too easy for salespeople to fudge their numbers. Yeah, I'm working on that. Yeah, I need to follow up with that. It's not salespeople's fault. It's because there is no lead management process built into your system. So accountability is really, really important. And then the last thing is reporting. So with reporting, that's where, because you have your definitions and your process, everything else becomes clear. We save it till the end. It's the last part. but your managers, your marketing managers, your executives, your sales VPs get to step out of the technology and say, all right, here's what I would like to see. As a layperson, from a business level, here's what I would like to be able to report on daily, weekly, quarterly, monthly. And because you have your data structured in that way, because you have a lead management process in place, you're able to get that reporting and make it part of their process. Before they go into a sales meeting, they know exactly the 3 reports that they need to look at. When they address salespeople in that sales meeting, because they have much more data to work with than they've ever had before, because they really didn't have a lead management process in place. When they address their salespeople, the salespeople know exactly what they're talking about. You're all on the same page saying, we're trying to move this metric on this property to this metric. Great, we're all on the same page, so the accountability is a lot easier. To boil it down, lead management is essential to any B2B company. If you have the concept of a lead, if somebody doesn't buy right away, if there's a considered sales process, maybe there's multiple decision makers, maybe it's one decision maker, but you're not closing the deal in one call. There's a follow-up. And the reason this is important, the reason to get this right, is because with inbound leads, you go from 10 a month to 100 a month or 200 a month, and it snowballs really quickly. You need a very simple way to be able to identify where people are in the process. When you come in the morning as a sales rep, you need to be able to identify, all right, here's what I need to call, here's what I need to call them about, and here's when I need to do it. You can look at your entire week that way, because today you're going to get 20 more leads assigned to you or 10 more leads assigned to you, and every lead is going to be at a different point in their buying process or in your sales process if you look at it that way. So you need a lead management framework to be able to manage that without overwhelming your salespeople, because when they get overwhelmed, they stop following up with those leads stop closing. And who gets blamed if leads stop closing? It's usually the marketing department. That's why we're talking about sales and lead management here, but this message is just as important for the marketers out here. So with lead management, you need definitions, clear definitions. You need your lead management process. You need automation on the back end that's going to be specific to your sales process that you've overlaid onto your CRM. You need accountability built in and that communicated to your team. And then that allows you to set up your reporting.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that training provided some clarity about your specific business. I hope you're able to view it through the lens of the process that you've set up for your sales team and the data that you've provided to your marketing team. If this has made you realize that you don't have the lead management framework set up that you need set up, I want to give you a deeper training. And this is a training I put together to help people close more sales, get their sales team to close more deals, turn more leads into revenue without having to fire your entire sales team and start fresh, without going to war with your sales team. It actually makes it easier for your sales team to handle more leads and sell. And you can access that training at hssalessuccess.com. And I run that webinar several times a week, but it's hssalessuccess.com. You'll get this free training, and it'll add a lot more clarity as well as action steps to set up your sales team for success and get your lead management process straight.